Welcome back to Miniature Cockapoo. Today's video is my travel checklist for if you're taking your pups on holiday. When Millie was 12 weeks old, we went on our first holiday and it was a caravan holiday and I definitely overpacked. And now that things are starting to open back up in the UK and people can go on holidays in England, I've had a few requests for this video and we're also going away in a couple of months. So I thought this was a good time to film this video and to help some of you so you don't overpack like I did the first time. Because I definitely took way too much of some stuff and then not enough of others. Some things I've got here with me, other things I've not brought upstairs. I will link everything that I mentioned in this video down below. Some of the items I might have discount codes for, but this video isn't sponsored in any way. We're just brand reps for them on Instagram. So if we do, I'll leave those below as well, next to the link for the products. So first thing is either a bed or a crate, depending on what your dog sleeps in. When we went, we bought a crate that would fit in the caravan. I believe it was a 26-inch crate. And then I got a vet fleece for the lining. And then I put a blanket over the top. Because Millie was so young, I was still crate training her. Whereas this time when we go, I'll just be taking a bed because she doesn't sleep in a crate anymore. So whichever one your dog sleeps in. Next is a food and water bowl. If you're going away to some places that cater for pets, you may find that they'll provide both the bed and the food bowl. So just check when you're booking. But for going away camping, then take your own. Next, if you're going away in a caravan, I definitely recommend taking a couple of blankets. I say you need one per week. And we use them just to cover the sofa because it's such a small place. It was difficult to stop Millie from going up onto the furniture. We put blankets out on a spot on the sofa that she could then lay on. I'd recommend one a week just so you can swap over. Depending on where you're going, they may or may not have washing facilities, but the places where we went, they did have them, but they wouldn't let me wash any dog stuff. You're better off taking more because you could hand wash, but if the weather's terrible, you've got nowhere to dry it, which was the problem we had. We went end of September, October, and it rained the entire time. And that meant that I ran out of things like towels, so I ended up going out and buying more. So I'd taken 2 of these microfiber ones, and then I went out and bought some normal towels. Because it was trickling down rain, she was having to get dried every time she was going in and out of the van. I definitely recommend, if your weather forecast is giving out a lot of rain, having a clean one for every other day. And even if your weather forecast isn't that bad, if you're going to places like beaches, or if you know your dog's going to end up in water a lot, definitely take a lot of towels. Like this time I'll be taking probably 4 or 5 towels with me. And I'm going to be taking Millie's dressing gown. So this is what it looks like, and there it goes over her head. I will insert a picture of her wearing it. She looks like an old man. But it's a microfiber towel that you can put over them so it will soak up water. And it's good for if you've been to places like the beach and they've been in the sea, so that when they're in the car, they're not getting everywhere wet. So I definitely recommend one of these if you know your dog likes water and you're going somewhere where it's going to be raining on a regular basis. Along the same notion of not packing enough of things, last time I only took 1 harness with me and it got covered in mud and it wouldn't dry out in time. So definitely take at least 2 harnesses if your dog wears harnesses. The brands that we use are either Paws and Paws, so this is one of the few that we have, Coco Pup and Pop and Ted. There's loads of different brands of harnesses out there. You can get nice little designs for them, but definitely take more than one, especially if you're going for over a week. Along the same vein, also take multiple collars and leads, and make sure you've got the tags on them with your contact details, as in England it is a legal requirement that your dog has the tags on them all the time. Yeah, they need to be wearing a collar or a harness at all times while you're away. So definitely take more than one in case one breaks or it gets covered in mud. So we've just got a basic one. I think we got this from Pets Corner. And then I'll probably take this lead with me, but it's the one I use for when we go running. And it's halty lead, so you can adjust the length of it. And another one we've got is from Twiggy Tags, and they do really nice bowfane, I think that's how you say it, lead and collars. So we've got the matching set, and they do really nice tags as well. Yeah, so you can get all custom made ones. And it's got her name on the collar. You can't really see it because of the light. And then we've got the matching lead as well. And these are good because you can wipe them down. Yeah, definitely take more than one lead and collar just in case one breaks or you lose it or it gets muddy. I also recommend taking a long lead. Even if your dog has really good recall and you don't use a long lead, I recommend having one so that you can tie them to tables or chairs, because normally the dogs have got to be on leads while you're on like camping site. So it's nice to give them a bit of extra freedom than what the short lead would do. We've also bought a lead that goes on a spike that you twist into the ground so they can have a bit more freedom then. So we'll put Millie on that next to the table so she can stay on the pitch with us. The next thing is poo bags, and take more than you would use at home. I'd take about 5 or 6 rolls and just have them laying around in different bags, because there's nothing worse than if you run out of poo bags, and if your dog gets travel sick then it's good for picking up the sick as well in your car. On that note, I'd also recommend taking a cleaner that you can have with you in case your dog has an accident. Even if they're fully potty trained, they might have an accident if they're in somewhere that they don't know. And also somewhere like caravanning, if they're unsure where the outside is, it might get them confused. At 12 weeks old, Millie wasn't quite fully potty trained, so she had a few accidents in the van. And when most of those was because she was confused where the outside was, because in her mind we were outside. Depending on the time of year you're going and the weather forecast, if your dog wears any kind of coat, then I recommend taking those with you. This is the first one I got from Millie when she was a pup, and it's just a little rain jacket. Honestly, these aren't the best for keeping them dry. It only really keeps the back dry and the underbellies still get wet through, so it's only really good if there's light showers. Our thick winter coat though, for when it's chucking it down with rain and it keeps it dry every time, is her Equifleece. And they do summer versions of these as well, so they're from a lighter fabric. It's just up to you really if you want your dog to wear one or not, and to keep them dry. I'll probably take both on holiday with us just because she's a nightmare to get dry with her being long hair. Now onto the grooming section. I'd recommend taking some shampoo. We've got 2, so I'll just take one of these, but we've got the curly coat from Animology, and then we've also got the white coat one. Both really good shampoos, and she definitely comes out a lot whiter using these, but now her fur's getting a bit darker, so it only really whitens a spot on her head now. And for in-between washes, I recommend getting the spraying shampoo. This is the Dirty Dog one. It's just good to freshen them up, especially if you be on the beach and then the sand's dried and then they always stink a bit of ocean, and then you go into a pub, you can keep this in your car and spray them down so they don't stink out the pub. And it also means you haven't got to bath them every single day. On that note, to keep them clean in between washes, I would spray Millie with that spray, let it dry, and then any sand would tend to fall out of her, but then just give her a quick brush through. So these brushes from Pets at Home are really good. This one's amazing at getting out any mats, and this is just a general overall quick brush. So yeah, take some brushes with you as well if you've got a long-haired dog like Millie is. And finally are some grooming wipes. So these are good to keep in your car. If your dog gets travel sick, to just clean them up and freshen them up. If they've been on places that's been a bit muddy, you can wipe down the paws. Just are good to give them a little tidy up in between the washes. Because to be honest with you, you probably want to avoid giving them a bath at all costs while you're out, while you're on holiday, unless you've got access to a bathtub. I can imagine it being a bit of a nightmare if you're needing to wash them in a caravan. Next on my list are some things for when you're out on a walk. I recommend taking a travel water bottle for your pup. This is a good one because that is a bowl and then no water gets wasted. If they don't drink it, you can go back into the bottle. And I always take this little pouch with me. Well, it's not that little really. It can fit in my phone, my purse, and then a lot of treats for Millie. And then I also put in long-lasting chews for while we're out and about. I recommend having a lot of treats on you and taking more than you think you're gonna need, especially the long-lasting chews if you go into places like pubs. What I did, I'd give Millie a long-lasting chew whenever we went into a pub to help her calm down, and then she'd fall asleep under the table. Some of the long-lasting chews I recommend are these natural twists from JR Pets. And then they also do some other really good ones. In terms of treats, Millie pretty much likes them all. She likes meaty ones. And these are just a selection of some that she enjoys. So Denzel's treats. They come in loads of different flavours. Small, she loves them. Barker and Barker training treats, which I've mentioned before. Anko little treats. Pooch and Mutt. And then Pooch and Mutt also do some little biscuits that are like calming, which are good for if you get going in the car and your dog gets a bit of anxiety and you want to calm them down beforehand. So yeah, just take a lot of treats. More than you expect, especially if you're going somewhere where there's no pet shop local. Take more than you think you're going to need. Chances are you'll use them all. And then also take your dog's food with you. I recommend working out how much they would eat a day and only taking what you need and maybe just taking a little bit extra. If your dog's quite a chewer, then I really recommend getting some of these bones. They're suitable for puppies, so we used these when Millie was teething and she loves them. And one of these lasts her about 6 months. So I take 2 with me, put 1 in the treat bag for while I'm out and about, and then have 1 for in the van. The next thing that I definitely overpacked last time was toys. I took Millie's full toy box with me and she only really used 3 or 4 of them. If you go for 2 weeks, I'd recommend taking about 6 toys and giving them free the first week and then switching them out the second. So some of Millie's favourites are these little broccoli from Pet Base, this pig from Asda, cupcake from Brown Nose Box, and another little pig from Pets at Home. Yeah, don't take your full toy box, just take them a small selection. And I think that is everything on my list. So it seems quite extensive, but actually the pile's not that big and you could get it onto a small bag. If you've got anything that you'd recommend taking on holiday for your pup, then please leave it in the comment down below. If you don't already, then please subscribe and follow us over on Instagram at Miniature Poodle. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up. And I will see you next week as Millie is trying to get into all the treats that I've put on the floor. Bye!